So welcoming back onto the podcast for the spring mashup or the monthly mashup. We've got the third Charlie's Angels here this week. I've got two stylists joining me who join me on the monthly mashup, both very established stylists. I've got Sally from Queen Bee Styling and I've got Sarah from Sartoria Lab. Thank you, ladies, again for joining me.
Hiya, how are you?
Thanks for having us. Right,
this spring has officially sprung. We're in British summertime. Start the fanfare. It's my favourite time of year. Winter is just, it drags me down. It's been a long winter, so I'm always really happy and excited when I see British summertime and the clocks go forward. So I just wanted to we're going to be talking about spring must-haves. Guides that we've seen. I'm going to be asking you if you've got any spring must-haves, if you've got your eye on a few pieces in the shops that you would recommend, if perhaps your clients are all buying certain pieces that are really good and really work hard. But first of all, my bugbear, so I'm going to kick off with this, and I'll talk about it on the podcast a lot. I thought before the podcast, do some research, Googled spring must-haves. And of course, these guides came up again, and this one was in vogue, saying, we all need a white shirt, we all need a trench coat, we all need a loafer. Now, sorry if you've been listening to this podcast a long time, you hear me rant about this a lot, but it drives me mad because they never say some people need that. Of course, we don't all need that. How boring. Why are they still saying these same guides, must-haves, classic pieces? Yes. Classic, they stand the test of time, but not everyone has classic style. That's why it's important to find your personal style. So I want to kick off with that. And what do you think about this? And have you got any spring must-haves?
Go
first.
Shall I go first, Sarah?
Yeah.
I agree. I think we all need wardrobe essentials, but what your wardrobe essentials are very much depend on you, your figure and your lifestyle. So like we were saying before, I didn't understand about a white shirt wasn't useful to me sort of 20 years ago, but now actually I do like having a white shirt in my wardrobe. But then that's because my tastes and what I need from my wardrobe has changed. So I think it's understanding what you need, and obviously we aim to understand what our clients need. I think I've said before how I look hideous in a pair of loafers. I've got quite sort of thick calves. And, there's not one pair of loafers that looks nice on me, and I love them, but they just don't work for me. So, I don't wear loafers, but, they work for some clients. Equally ballet pumps. There's a brand called Beryl Mode, who they're about £400, like these beautiful little sort of Mary Jane shoes. And I saw a really lovely similar pair in John Lewis and thought, brilliant. And I just tried them on and I just looked like, so wrong. Like I felt like one of those big elephants when they've got those little ballet shoes on. And it's just, I just can't do it, because we're always running around in dainty little shoes that my feet are going to splay out of because I've got quite wide feet, not going to work for me. So, so I think ballet pumps are things that people are saying are essentials and they just don't work. So, I'm sort of trainers all the way, really, most of the time. So I agree with you. I think make a note of the essentials, but just also be aware that not all of them are going to suit you.
Absolutely, 100%. What about you, Sarah?
So I don't think I have any of those. I've never had a trench coat. I have had a few white shirts, but white's not the best colour for me, especially now my hair's grey. I sort of look quite washed out on it. So I do wear white in summer, but I tend to wear things that are quite high necks because I think I've got white skin and white hair. I sort of disappear. What I've identified over the years of having had some white shirts is I like softer stuff, like the sort of the fabric to be softer on the top, and then I like very structured things on the bottom. So if I go for a white shirt, so I have got one actually which I do really like, it's collarless and it's got a frill down the front, which frills aren't normally me, but it's sort of a little bit menswear, I suppose, as well, and I do actually really like that. So I've got that. And I was thinking I do need a shirt, because what I'd like to do is put a shirt under some jumpers. just to have a collar, just to make it look a bit different, because I'm sort of bored of wearing round neck jumpers, which I tend to do all the time. So yeah, and loafers. I have had loafers. I have had the Patrick Cox loafers, and in the, when was it, 90s, early 90s, that they were like, everyone had them. And I've noticed that they're all coming back now, plus those chunky sort of Prada, very square-toed loafers are all coming back. So, and I absolutely desperately need to buy some shoes, because I've been wearing the same trainers for ages. And I'm like, you know what, I really need to stop this now. I was thinking of trying on some loafers, but because I'm quite tall as well, and I've got short hair, sometimes they just look too masculine. So I quite like that androgynous look, but I have to sort of balance it out properly. So yeah, I think it's, I did like the Patrick Cox ones actually. So maybe I'll have a look and see if there's something around that's similar to that. But I was, saying actually to my sister yesterday, she had on some quite square toe boots, and I was like, they're back in fashion, and she's had them years, so they've sort of come around.
I mean, I personally, loafers, I think it's because I haven't got masculine style, so I like them on other people and I think they look great, but I really feel wrong in them. And I think it's not because they don't suit me, but you were making me laugh, Sally, about the shoes, the sort of baby doll shoes. Mary Jane's.
Yeah,
they're a huge trend for spring, summer 2023, and they look so cute. I really like them, and they look lovely with little sort of 3/4 jeans or trousers. But yes, on some people they're just not right, and I'm not sure they're right for me either, that kind of style.
But I feel like an overgrown schoolgirl in those.
They're either overgrown schoolgirl or old lady chic. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. I just don't find them very practical, because I think for me a wardrobe has to work. It's all very well looking good, as an outfit, but actually it needs to fulfill a function as well. So there's no point me putting dainty little shoes on when I'm rushing around and I've got to walk a lot, because that's not that, they're really not going to work like that. They're not going to be they're not going to be hard wearing shoes. It might be all right just to sort of go out where you've not got to walk, but for me, I just think
I'd rather practical. No, we have to be practical as stylists out in the shops. We have to. I mean, my back would not withstand it. The amount of steps I do in a day. Are you going to be switching up your spring wardrobe? So there any things that you're going to be getting? Sarah, you need some loafers.
I need some loafers. I also need some jeans. That's one thing I really, really need, as jeans. And maybe a lightweight jacket, I think, as well, because I've got sort of winter coats and some lighter spring, well, more summery jackets, I'd call them, but I don't have much sort of for that in-between weather. So I think that's
essential.
And I'm going to go for wide leg jeans, because that's what I want.
Yeah, it's all wide leg jeans at the moment. I know, Sally, you like a wide leg jean. I do.
I love a wide leg jean.
I love a wide leg jean, but I also like just straight cut, which isn't for everyone. Mom jeans, those with like a little crop.
Yeah.
If I want something.
I think the good thing now about jeans is that there's quite a lot of different shapes out there. I think when skinnies were on trend, that was the only shape. But now I think there are, there's straight cut, there's, slightly more tapered mums, there's boyfriend, there's high-waisted wide leg, there's lower cut wide leg. So I think really it's a question of finding the jeans that work for your body shape.
Your body shape. There's a lot. Have you watched Daisy Jones and the Six? Everyone's talking about that in all the fashion magazines, and there's like a huge 70s revival, and everyone's going on about the fashion. I find it so boring. I'm going to stop watching it. I've dragged myself through nearly 3 episodes, and I'm so bored.
Really?
I don't understand the hype. It's
my daughter loves it. Maybe it's a teen thing.
Maybe it is. But even the fashion, I mean, it's sort of, prescriptive 70s fashion, sort of flares with little tops, but there's going to be loads of flares in the shops. I mean, I think they're very flattering flares on a lot of people.
I do.
The female body shape.
Yeah, I had a pear-shaped client last week, and the best jeans for her were like the palazzo jeans, because she was quite curvy.
Yes.
And they look great. So, but again, it is about body shape. I mean, I'm more of a pear shape, so I do love a flare, and I love a palazzo jean. I have done since I was like young. I always like to, going back to what you were saying about essentials, I think it's finding the things that you like for me is jeans, and making sure they're up to date and make you feel good. So I think as long as you refresh those key pieces, that's a good way to update your wardrobe. So I always love to sort of grab hold of a new pair of jeans, not every season, but every time there's a new shape, because that makes me feel good and that refreshes my wardrobe.
They're the hardest working piece in your wardrobe, but particularly now when it's this sort of, it's still chilly. This is totally jeans season for me. When it gets to kind of July, when it's hot and sticky, I'm not in my jeans, but now I'm jeans 100%. So it's just so worth investing, getting the right shape. Pear shape, definitely better to be loose, isn't it, on the bottom, fitted on the top.
Yeah, definitely.
So that looks a lot nicer. Are there any pieces? So I've noticed as well what's back. So you said Patrick Cox, Sarah, the loafers are back, which were huge in the 90s. Also Adidas Sambas, and I've been trying to get hold of a pair.
Can't get hold of them.
Can't get them.
Yeah. But you know what, I tried those on as well, and I looked at they were too dainty for my feet, because they're quite
flat.
They haven't got that sort of rigid sole. So they actually, I've got, again, back to my wide feet, but yeah, they really didn't suit me. So even if I did manage to find a pair and try them on, but in the Adidas shop on Oxford Street, they had some in, not all the colours, sort of last week, but
right. I'm going to hot foot there. I want some Adidas Sambas. Retro trainers are back hugely, aren't they?
Apparently, they were saying they released them online first as well. So if you sign up to the Adidas website and you put a notification, you're more likely to get them there. But you might be lucky with the store as well. But
the ones that are trending on TikTok are not the Adidas Sambas, the retro trainers for spring. But what's trending with all the, I don't know, YZers, I'm not even sure, Gen Zers, I can't keep up, Y2Kers. Anyway, they're the chunky New Balance white chunky trainers apparently are a huge trend as well for this year, for spring summer. My clients have been getting lots of these boucle jackets. I'm wearing one. If you can watch the podcast, by the way, on YouTube, if you're listening. I'm wearing, it's just from Henny's. It's like 20 quid, but it looks, it's 25.
It looks like a cardigan, isn't it? In between a cardigan and a jacket, which
exactly.
is
In between. I'm doing loads of these at the moment with my clients. That sort of in between spring thing. But Sarah, you were saying before, weren't you, about some? There's a lady that's going around with the capsule wardrobe 33.
Yeah, I don't think it's a new thing, but I've just come across it. I can't even remember how now, but it was about picking 33 things out of your wardrobe, and it included shoes, and I think it was actually accessories as well. So it's not that many things. And it wasn't including like underwear and stuff, but so you picked out 33 items for the next 3 months, I think it was, and then you put everything else away, you pack it away, so you just wear those things, so you kind of wear them in rotation and you find new ways to wear them. And then after 3 months you put those 3 things away, and then you find another 33. So, and some people, like you said, you would never do that. I said I've probably only got 33 things in my wardrobe anyway. But I think a lot of people like that sort of limitation, because it narrows down the choice. And especially, well, for me, because I work with a lot of guys, they love the thought of that. And I had a client the other day, and I was telling him about it actually, and he was like, I want a formula. I've got suits, and he's a barrister, so he's still wearing suits for work. And he's like, I need a formula in my casual wear. So we kind of gave him like, right, okay, so it's jeans. You can either go lighter, and you've got a variety of jeans, lighter and darker colours, and jumper and a lightweight jacket. And so he had everything, and it would be like a bomber jacket if it was more casual, it'd be a blazer if it was smarter, and a t-shirt, and that was it. And once he sort of got his head around that, kind of made more sense to him. Although we didn't alter what he had in his wardrobe particularly, we did throw a lot of stuff out, massive pile, but I think he just liked to have that kind of, right, this is my sort of uniform, my formula, because I've heard you talking about formulas as well, Lisa. This is my formula and this is what I do, and it made it much easier for him. So I think it's just about making things easy. And some people, into clothes, they want to have all the choice in the world, and some people just like to have a little bit more restraints and makes it easier for them to get dressed in the mornings, which is
I get it. I do get it. Who do you know what the lady's name is?
I totally can't remember, I'm afraid.
And it's called the 33.
I'm sure there's a website saying the 33 Club or something like that.
Right. Okay, so if anyone's listening that's more organised than me, because I am so not organised, I like loads of choice. I dress by mood as well. Like mood is a huge thing for me. But for clients, I think paring it down, because an overwhelmed, confused mind can't make choices. And if you've got a big job to go to in the morning, he's a barrister, this guy, so God, that's like high pressure. To have just like hardly any choice of what to wear, but have a real capsule of good pieces is probably a godsend for him. But what about you, Sally? Would you operate like that?
No. That's it. No. I agree with I think it's sometimes called the signature style, like your personal style. So I think having that sort of formula and understanding what works for you. Again, for me, I love trousers and jeans with blouses. That's my go-to, or jumper. So I'm quite happy with that. I'm not really, I've got the odd dress, but I'm not really a dress person. And I think we probably do the same with our clients, like say, what do you like? What are your personal tastes? Like, let's build on that. Let's add variety within that, because it doesn't, trousers and a blouse doesn't have to be boring, but it obviously is if you've got the same one and you're not mixing it up and you're not changing it. So I think it's understanding the formulas that work for you and then building on that. And that's what I try to do. I think maybe years ago I'd think, I need dresses because they're on trend and that's what I should have. But now I'm like, I'm quite comfortable that if I see a dress and I like it, that's fine. But really, I'm just going to gravitate towards trousers and blouses because that's what makes that's comfortable. Yeah.
And it's trial. As you get older, the trial and error, you start to work out what isn't for you as well. But you've brought it on nicely to the core topic of the podcast today, which is the statement by John Lewis that floral dresses are dead. So we've had floral dresses around for a long time now. Obviously, we've had lockdown in between that as well. But if you walk down the King's Road, everyone's wearing a floral dress and trainers, right? And I went to a party last week, a golf club, a 40th, everyone there was wearing a floral dress. And my husband said to me, did you miss the dress code or something? Because I was in like jeans and a top. He said, literally every woman here is wearing a floral dress. And I thought to myself, why? Because it's easy, because you know that you won't get it wrong kind of thing. It's a bit safe. They're pretty. They're not for everyone, but that sweeping statement, what do we think about that? Because I think it's off the mark. I mean, I don't agree.
Well, I think it's quite odd because their store's full of them. So
yeah.
They've sort of shot themselves in the foot a little bit by saying that, because like everywhere in John Lewis has got like a floral dress, every brand. So yeah, I personally am not feeling for floral dresses, but I would never say you can't wear it. I think people have lovely ones in their wardrobe, definitely wear them, love them. If I probably wouldn't invest in that many for clients this season because I'm not feeling that they've got longevity. But I don't agree with ever saying you must not wear this anyway. I think wear whatever makes you feel good.
100%. And I've just noticed Aspiga, which is a dress brand, very small dress brand in London, just does mostly floral dresses. They're starting to open more shops. There's Wise London, there's Rixo, all of these brands. New Day Originals is a really small sustainable brand as well. And Finola, who runs that, Finola, she's been on the podcast a couple of times. And, they're hugely popular, these dresses.
Yeah, I think it's really easy, isn't it? Because also, I think the thing is if you get a shirt dress, which a lot of those floral dresses are, in a plain colour, you're also thinking it shows creases much more. If you spill something on it, it shows like being ultra practical. And florals just don't. If you've got kids and stuff, they can put their sticky hands on you, there might be marks. If you've got a plain, it's a lot of fabric to have a plain dress, isn't it? Then that's going to be a bit of an issue. So it's kind of, you can understand it is much easier. And like you say, it's pretty and you can layer stuff on top or underneath. And if you've got the right color balance, you can put boots with them, you can wear them with sandals and trainers. So kind of totally get why they've been so popular. And I agree. I heard that statement by John Lewis and went in there and went, that's really weird, because this shop is absolutely full of them. So yeah, bit of a shame. But I don't think people are going to take that much notice, are they?
No, but I do think people won't be buying into floral dresses that much now. From now on, I do think they've kind of peaked and had their time, as you know, fashion does evolve. So I think if you find one you love, fine. But I reckon, you know, I think we naturally sort of pick up on trends, don't we?
Yeah.
Because we see them on other people and we kind of evolve to accept them. And where we get to in terms of the trend, very much depends on how, you know, how we follow fashion, I think. So I definitely think there is going to be a move away from floral dresses. So I would, you know, people like Rixo, I think they sort of do need to change what they're doing and bring other things in, because otherwise I think they are going to be in trouble. Like people like Nobody's Child, who are just known for dresses. I think they're going to have to start changing up what they do. But yeah,
I mean, I wouldn't choose a floral dress because I'm really weird about pattern. By the way, anyone who's watching on YouTube, Sarah's had someone knock at the door and she's had to go and let them in because we're all doing this on Zoom.
It's real life.
Real life. So I would choose, you know, I love a dress, pretty dress, a few frills. I feel good in it. I like edging it up with a pair of boots. I like edging it up with a leather jacket. That makes it my style. And that kind of takes it back to that 3-word thing. So I'm feminine, relaxed with edge. So that fits my personal style really, really well. But I don't like florals or loads of pattern because it makes me feel overwhelmed. It's a really strange thing. I feel too bold, or I don't know what it is. It's something.
It's a personal taste, isn't it? I mean, I do generally like florals. Like I love like a floral blouse. I'm just not really feeling for the dresses for me. But I think if you put something on and you feel good in it, then wear it. Doesn't matter what it is. Do you know what I mean? I think everybody should. I think ultimately, you know, what we do is about how people feel. It's not what's right or wrong or what's in fashion. It's about making them feel good, isn't it? So I think if a floral dress makes you feel good, then wear it.
Exactly. And yeah, as we've said, like John Lewis is packed with them, and the other brands are Aspiga, Rixo, like you said, Nobody's Child, New Day Originals, all brands that do beautiful dresses. That if that's your thing, just wear it. Just bloody wear it. That's it, isn't it? You don't have to be, you know, like following all these guides and feeling like you should be wearing certain things. But we have all got this thing in us where, you know, which is the human side of us, which is that we want to fit in, you know. So that's understandable that people can be. Did you get your delivery, Sarah? Sarah's just had to leave.
I got sent somebody's clothes that they're going on a skiing trip tomorrow instead of something else. And slightly, he was in a slight panic. So yes, they've been picked up now.
Oh my goodness. real life on the podcast. But so are there any sort of certain pieces that are standing out, would you say, for your clients this season? Mine are just the jackets, but is it just, well, every client we have is different, isn't it? That's the main thing.
Yeah.
I've noticed chore jackets for guys, well, and women actually as well.
What jackets?
I think chore jackets, you know, the workman style jackets that are sort of pockets, so like a sort of overshirt but bit more of a jacket. So they usually have pockets at the hips. They're a straight shape, usually have pockets at the hips, and then sometimes on the chest as well, depends which brands. But places like Arcade, like literally everywhere has them. But
Do you mean a shacket? Do you mean a shacket?
I might mean a shacket.
I love that word.
Your jacket sounds a bit nicer than a shacket, doesn't it? I think.
I would call it a workman style jacket, just like a straight cut, quite casual. But actually, we bought one from Surplus. I don't know if you know Surplus. And the guy had on a different one, and layered over like a cardigan, and he had like a shirt and a tie on. And I've always thought of it as quite a casual thing, but in fact, the guy that I bought it with was saying, I could wear this to work. He's about to start a new job. I could probably wear this to work with a shirt. And So actually, I've kind of thought it's sort of taken over a little bit. I think for blazers, I've noticed not as many. There's not as many blazers around for men, and I just think there's not as many people are wearing them. So I think that sort of thing. And also I think, I mean, I guess it's a bit of a lockdown thing, but also people are starting to travel again. We were looking for like really stretchy trousers. We bought some from Lululemon in the end. So they look sort of quite smart, sort of like a pair of 5-pocket trousers. So like jeans, but in a different fabric, but they're super stretchy and comfy, almost like jogging bottoms.
Yeah, oh, I love those, definitely. But you're saying, like, I've noticed there's hardly any blazers, but you were saying, Sally, about, because I've noticed as well, there are lots in the women's wear. There's lots of suits in the shops, aren't there? There's like kind of, it's quite tailored.
I think I think generally the high street looks quite occasion at the moment. I think there's a distinct lack of everyday special items. So you know, because there are only so many bright pink suits that you want in your wardrobe, or, you know, bright green or bright orange. I think that's lovely, like, but there's only, like, it's definitely more occasion wear. As much as we say you can wear it to work, generally most people, if you work in financial services or, you know, that sort of industry or law, you're not going to rock up with a bright pink suit. So I think unless
you're on The Apprentice, of course, and then you would.
Exactly.
Then you would. Even
I mean, we talked about that last time, but
yeah,
I did watch the final. I mean, what is that all about? Those bodycon stupid dresses that you can't even move in. It's like, who can wear those and who wants to wear them now?
The best term was boardroom Barbie. I just think that's perfect. Yeah, it's just for telly, isn't it? I mean, surely most people are not wearing that. But
I noticed some of the buyers were wearing more sort of like they kind of Victoriana sort of dresses, and I was thinking that actually looks a lot more modern than what the contestants were wearing.
Those, is that? Oh yeah, the people. I didn't watch it actually. I didn't watch the final. I know what you mean. So have you noticed Mango have released? I think this is a backlash from us being in our jogging bottoms for so long, lockdown for 2 years. They've launched this premium event wear line, and it's all really insane. Like
feather boas and like bits of feather and satin, and which again it's very much an occasion thing. So I think I've found I've had to dig quite deep for, you know, most of my clients want workwear, everyday wear, and I think that's a little bit harder to find. But I still personally like blazers. I still like the jackets that I call, like those jackets that you've got on, the Chanel type jackets and cardis. I think there's varying different ones out there, from tailored ones to like more knitted sort of easier ones, which I think are really useful.
Have you got a brand that you go to for day to day then? Because Mango, I agree, it's got, Mango have got great boucle jackets. I have to say they've got really good boucle jackets and cardigans at the moment. But what about sort of more day to day stuff? Where would you go?
I found that I really had to shop elsewhere. So, for instance, you know, that I found the blouses in And Other Stories great, the trousers in Cos good, the jackets okay in Mango, and literally had to shop around, because usually I tend to try to find the store that I can get the most things from, like, and can generally get a mix of tops, bottoms, dresses, whatever. But now I'm finding I'm having to go to a lot more shops and spread far and wide. So
if you want a floral dress, you can go to John Lewis.
Yeah.
What about you?
Everyone else? Are you finding sort of day wear? Do you have to dig a bit deep?
I know what you mean, right? But I love it because I'm a magpie. So I'm a magpie shopper, and I'm always like looking for the next shiny new thing. So when I walk in a shop, I'm like, oh, but it's not helpful because, like you say, then I get distracted and I get an urge. Anyone who's a magpie shopper listening will know what I'm talking about. I then I must have that satin top with the feathers off the side like that, you know, and it's just like, okay, where am I going to go to wear that? Down to my local with this, you know? No, I don't actually go anywhere to wear those things, but I still have that urge, even though I do my job. I know what suits me. I know I shouldn't have loads of things. I can't help it. I'm a magpie shopper. So I think day to day, I like Other Stories, and I really like a brand two brands. One's called Sir, which is Soeur, which does quite baggy trousers. I think they do great day-to-day stuff. And Sideline is also good. A lot of it's a bit peasant wear for me, though. That kind of Victoriana thing I like. It's not for me, though. But I think they do really great blouses. It's a British brand. It's a really small brand.
I know they do them in leather, don't they?
Yeah.
They're a small brand. I love Suzanne. I must admit, I could
another good one.
Easily go mad in Suzanne. I think of all the places, they're probably the one that gets me now. Like that, I always see so many things I love, but they are obviously a bit pricier and not so great. I went to Notting Hill last week and had a mooch around their store, and they don't really carry the main rate, like a lot of the range there, which is probably a good thing for my credit card, so I didn't get to lots of
they
stuff.
Hardly have anything in there. They do menswear now, don't they?
Yeah, they do. They have one side for menswear, but yeah, it's more like window shopping, because actually when you go in there, it's really basics. Like none of these sorts of blouses and that, like they don't have all the colours and that sort of thing. So, which, like I say, it was probably a good thing for me. But generally, I could spend a fortune in Suzanne.
Yeah, because they do lots of wide leg trousers, pretty blouses. It's definitely my vibe, Suzanne. And they've got really cute of those little I keep calling them baby doll shoes, but they're the Mary Jane.
Mary Janes. Theirs are a bit chunkier though, aren't they? They're not like really flat like some. They've got like a bit of a heel on them, which I think
really nice, and they always sell out. And Sarah, they've started doing menswear in our local boutique here in South London, White Feather. They're doing a bit of Sideline for men.
Oh really? Okay, let's go and have a look.
Yeah, no, that's good.
I think Suzanne, Sir and Sassoon are all quite similar-ish, aren't they?
Maybe it's the same. Often, because Claudie Perlo, Madge,
I wondered that.
And Sandro are all owned by the same.
Yeah, aren't they sisters and cousins or something?
I wonder. Marge and Sandro are sisters, aren't they?
Yes.
Yeah, and then I think Claudie Piello is their cousin. I think
really?
Sure I heard that. Yeah, I think there's definitely a connection. I wondered the same about Sir and Suzanne and Sassoon.
Yes, Sassoon I love Sassoon as well.
They're quite pricey though, Sassoon. I think that their boucle jackets are about £400, which I find a little bit, they do that kind of Anine Bing sort of textured jacket. Again, I love Anine Bing. But
I love Anina Bing.
Yeah, Anina, is that how you say it? I say
Anina, but I get everything wrong. So
I get everything wrong.
I literally say Mash, like
Anine, if anyone's listening.
Anine, Anina Bing. She's LA based, I think Danish or Scandinavian model, and she does amazing. She does the same kinds of clothes every season because they're so timeless, but they've got this cool edge to them.
Yeah,
a coat from her would be about 500, wouldn't it?
Yeah, she does those lovely textured jackets, the sort of herringbone textured boucle jackets, and I think they're about £400-500. So yeah,
it was better than Isabel Marant, isn't it? Where they'd be more like 900 at least.
Yeah, exactly. I do love Marant as well, but yeah, it's out of my price range. So.
Yeah, I can't do Marant. That's definitely out my price range. But I've been looking on Vinted for Anina Bing. You can get a bit of, there's quite a bit knocking around on Vinted. And I got a herringbone wool jacket on Vinted, which was H&M for 40 quid, which looks just like an Anina Bing jacket. What's that?
Clever shopping.
Exactly, that's what we've got to do. But any go-to places for men for basics? I quite like John Lewis for men, actually. Sarah, what do you think?
Yeah, my go-to that I think suits loads of people is Reiss. I think it just suits, it's kind of trendy but not too trendy. It just seems to work really well on loads of people. So sort of high streety level is Reiss. And I go to Uniqlo a lot for sweaters, knitwear. Sometimes I did have a spell of buying jeans and stuff there, but not so much. So sometimes shirts, but usually I go there for knitwear. John Lewis is quite good. They've got Paul Smith, and you can kind of get a range in there, can't you? So yeah, but Reiss is probably my go-to. Paul Smith, I always find generally do quite well in there, but it does depend a bit on the stores because they all have different things. So it depends a little bit on which store you go to. So I haven't bought as much recently from there. And then there's another brand so sometimes I go to Liberty's menswear is really good. So, and it's sort of the first room you come to, which is more kind of casual wear, is sort of, you know, price wise, it's kind of mid price, I think. So there's a brand called NN07, which I really like.
I like that
brand. I like that.
Yeah, and they've got it in Harvey Nichols as well, haven't they?
Yeah.
And I think that's good. It's quite simple, but it seems to be just sort of sit in that kind of like, it's not too boring, simple. And Norse projects sometimes, I like them as well.
And folk,
yeah.
Folky.
Folk, yeah. I really like folk and Oliver Spencer as well. For
yeah, I love Oliver Spencer.
Doesn't suit everyone though.
Oliver Spencer and folk, I think, are both in John Lewis, actually, men's department. But yeah, Liberty for men is really nice as well. It's sort of a little bit more expensive, isn't it? That kind of brand. But men's
it's
clothes,
not
I think,
mad though. And I just think they have a really nice, whoever their buyer is, I think they select really well.
Yeah, I do. They do have a really nice selection.
Yeah, and it's not overwhelming like Selfridges is.
Yeah, yeah. I think men's. Well, it's the back bit of Selfridges now that I go to with men. The one that's got like Paul Smith and Hugo Boss. I don't even touch the front because it's like
no, I don't.
Much too hectic. But just going back to John Lewis, they're not doing that well. They've made like a 230 million loss this year, and I'd really like to know if that's their women's wear, because you know they've changed all their women's wear and they've put all their own brand in the middle and then put all the things at the side. And I just think I don't find anything in that in their own brand selection. I wonder if they've shot themselves in the foot by trying to make everything themselves, and actually what they should do is focus on getting all of the sizes in their actual what are they called,
concessions.
That's it. Because I go in there and if it's almost like they have stock, they sell out, they don't get it back in again in the concession. So they're potentially losing sales, and as much as you make bigger margin on stuff that you buy yourself, to hold your own brand up, which has probably got the same amount of staff on it, probably like to buy 50 options as Mint Velvet got to buy one. So it just doesn't stack up. So I think they're better off doing a smaller own brand range and doing it really well, and then really focusing on making sure that their concessions are working well for them, like Selfridges do.
Yeah. I mean, I went in there the other day. I went in there last week, and I just was so overwhelmed. I was like, oh my God! And I shop for a living, so anyone that doesn't shop for a living and gets overwhelmed in a shop must walk in there and think, oh my God, where do I start? They have crammed so much stuff in there for number one. So the actual layout is just really like, oh my, yikes, I can't bear this. What do I need? Where do I start? But also, it's all their own brand in the middle. Kin is very good, I think. Kin is good, especially if you're oversized sort of 16. I think Kin's really good.
Kin is like the cause of John Lewis, but I think that's always been good, hasn't it? I think they always had the little brands, and they used to do was it like a weekend classic collection, and that was really good. But now they've kind of got everything in the middle, like you say, and you just can't see the wood for the trees in there. It's really, really hard to shop, and also they're not the cheapest, and it doesn't necessarily stack up against similar brands. And I've noticed in wardrobes that their cashmere really peels badly. I've had clients
that
have only had pieces for like a week, and it's not wearing well at all. So I just don't think they've got the expertise and department behind it to really, really buy well. So I think they
buy cheap, buy twice, buy cheap, buy twice.
Yeah, and they're spreading it too thin. You do really need to have a lot of people to make decent product, I think, nowadays.
Well, you come from, your background is from the back, from like buying, isn't it? From that kind of, actually in retail from there. I mean, I think the quality, some of their quality, is not great. But I've noticed quality go down on the high street, full stop. Loads of brands. They sort of do well, like Hush, which is a brand that I've always championed and loved. and thought they really nailed it, like really what women want, how they want to dress, which is casual, practical, not like you've gone over the top, not with a feathered bloody satin suit, you know, to go and walk the dog or all of that stuff. I don't know what's happened, but the quality's for me has really, really gone downhill. And there's you buy it, you wash it, it's you can't wear it again, or you can only wear it twice. That's just a false economy. It's just
I always take stuff back, but so many people don't. And
I always tell clients to take it back because it's not fit for purpose.
No.
I think if something peels or something falls apart and it, you know, and you've not been wearing it much and you've only had it for a few months, it should go back.
Problem is that it's not really the customer's always right anymore. I just find when I take stuff back, they just try and blame you, and it's sort of like, did you wear it? Yes. Well, I thought that's what you did with clothes. Yeah. So
yes.
Yeah,
not the customer's always right. It's not that anymore. There's too much. I think we've got from a place of lockdown to throwing loads of stuff at us now because they want to recoup, I guess, from the last couple of years. But it's become unclear what we actually want now. So it's literally gone from the joggers to a huge jump up to the feather boas and nothing much in between.
Yeah, I agree. And I think I think there's room for the feather boas, but and then people still want joggers. But I think this, the everyday day-to-day wear, I think that's struggling because we don't all want bland stuff as well, because everything's the same. We don't all want a striped t-shirt, and we want things that are a little bit different in the everyday, like to make us feel good, like a little bit of for instance, like a denim shirt. We don't all want to have the same Western style denim shirt. We might want something a bit different, like your cardigan. It's got some sort of feature in it, like Sarah's jumper. It's got a nice little detail. I think those are the little things in the everyday wear that make a difference, and I think that's what the high street is lacking.
Yeah, so we're not talking about wearing basic basics. We're talking about something with a bit of detail, makes us feel like ourselves. So we have to wrap up now because Sally's got the plumber coming.
It's all going on this morning, isn't it?
It is all going on. It's rock and roll here, I can tell you.
Squeezing it in.
I won't even tell you what the issue is.
So thank you, ladies. I mean, I think the point of today's episode is just about, buy less, but buy wisely. And always the whole point of the whole podcast is find your personal style. And then when you know what works for you, you can focus more on that. And if you like a floral dress, wear a floral dress.
Go for it.
That's the moral of the story. Thanks for joining me again on the monthly mashup. Thanks, ladies.
Bye.